What's up? Coach Emma here, and welcome to the Fit Habit Life podcast. So today I'm going to talk, whatever. I'm going to talk about tracking progress that matters. How to track your progress, how to break free from using the scale as your only metric, and how to shift your mindset so when the scale isn't budging, you are still tracking your progress. So before I jump in, just wanted to talk about my day. So today is a Thursday. I had a lot of meetings this morning. Got my lift in. I hit a new PR for 5x5 deadlift, 235 in case you're wondering. I'm very excited about that. But it is winter season. I am a big snowboarder. And unfortunately, to my dismay, it is raining up there. It is not cold enough to get snow, so it's raining. And what that means, if you ski or snowboard, that means overnight, all that water is going to freeze and it's going to be a sheet of ice. I was planning on going snowboarding this weekend, and my plans have been stifled. So anyway, other than that, pretty positive. All things going pretty fairly well, but I've been in a calorie deficit, and what I like to do is I'm pretty flexible. I don't set an end date. I don't have a goal. I have a goal, usually a goal weight or goal feeling, when I feel physically fit and I feel like my clothes are fitting a little bit better, because when winter hits, I usually overindulge a little bit with the holidays and whatnot. So I usually go into about a 12-week max cut just to get back into the swing of things, fine-tune my diet a little bit, make sure I'm eating the right nutrients, and just feeling better and less inflamed. But during this cut, so I've been probably started like mid-January, so it's probably been about 8 weeks. And in this cut, every fourth week, I've been taking what I call a diet break. And so essentially it's a week at maintenance. During both those weeks, I was out of town and traveling, which makes it very difficult. But I did my best. But anyway, this past week I was snowboarding most of the week, and I was eating pretty well. Like, most of the meals were cooked at home. I'd say of the 7 days we were there, I think only one day we ate out more than once a day, which is pretty solid for, being out. And I'm snowboarding all day, so I'm very active. I can eat more than I usually can. So anyway, so did fairly well. Come home, and the scale actually only went up about a half pound. So that's pretty solid. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. But then, the next 2 days, the scale went up 3 pounds. So I'm like, oh man, that's a bummer. But there are so many reasons why the scale can go up that even though, right, my goal is to lose some more body fat and get a little bit leaner, I understand that I was exercising for it was like anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day for 4 of the days, and the rest of the days were very active and walking and whatever. So that can cause inflammation. My hip flexor was extremely sore. I totally overdid it. Too many moguls, too much powder. It was a blast. And all of those things. And I didn't lift for the week. So I come back, I start lifting again. My body's achy and tired. And I ate out a lot more than I usually do. So my body's going to be a little bit more inflamed. My menstrual cycle is also coming up. And in the phase of the menstrual cycle that I'm in now is when your body tends to retain more water because it's getting ready to shed the lining. So During that phase, usually people feel pretty puffy. And that is the phase that I'm in. So I'm not worried about it. And here's why. Because when I came home, I got back to my calorie range. I made sure to eat more than I usually do when I was on that vacation because I was super active. So I needed to eat even more than my maintenance range to maintain my body weight and not lose muscle tissue. And I'm trying to do a diet break. I'm trying to basically restoke my metabolism so that my metabolism doesn't adapt to this lower caloric intake I've been on for the 3 weeks prior. So anywho, so the scale going up, very normal. And I'm not worried because I'm looking at all my other metrics and my lifts are getting better. I'm getting stronger. Like I said this morning, or not this morning, or today, earlier on in the podcast, I just hit a PR. I haven't done 235 by 5 deadlift in years. So obviously my strength is progressing. So I'm moving in the right direction. And that's one of my favorite metrics to measure. When you're on a fitness journey, fat loss journey, muscle building journey, whatnot, if the scale isn't budging, but you're getting stronger, you're moving in the right direction, especially if you're doing all the things that you need to do. If you're staying consistent, you're hitting your workouts, you're hitting your protein intake, you're getting your sleep, you're getting your steps in, there is nothing you should worry about. Fat loss and muscle building take a tremendous amount of time. So that is why with my clients, we focus on measuring other metrics. So like the one I just talked about, strength is a key one. It's also a very fun one to measure. It can, once you've been training for a long time, it can be really hard to progress in the big lifts because you've been doing it for a while. So we measure strength and other things. You switch up the routine, try different rep ranges, try different exercises to keep it fun and engaging. So yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. Another one you can use is how your clothes feel. If you've been inactive for a while, you haven't been strength training, and you haven't been eating very well, and all of a sudden you start to lift weights, your body weight, the scale, it might stay the same because you'll be burning body fat and building muscle tissue. Usually that happens. That's what we call newbie gains. So the scale, that might demoralize you. But your clothes might be fitting better. This is another metric I love to focus on with my clients. It's like, okay, so the weight on the scale stayed the same. But if your clothes are fitting better, who cares? At the end of the day, what you want is to look and feel more confident in your body. So that number on the scale doesn't matter. So I'm going to reiterate it. It does not matter. Obviously, if the goal is fat loss, it is a very important metric because doing at my level where I've been training and playing sports for decades now, it is really difficult to do a body recomposition. So for my fat loss phase, the scale does matter. But it's not the only metric. So anyway, so how your clothes feel, that's a really, really awesome one to use. Progress photos. They're so underrated. If you have a history of body image issues, I don't recommend using it because we can be very subjective with ourselves. But it can be a useful tool anyway, where if you just take a photo, you put it in that hidden folder every 30 days, and then 30 days later, you take another photo, and you can compare the two. And in 30 days' time, you can notice a difference. It can make a big difference. So progress photos are great. I tend to do that with my clients. If my clients aren't comfortable with it, we don't do that. But I highly recommend it for most of my clients because, as I said, if the scale isn't budging, you feel demoralized, but you're doing these things that you've never done before, I can guarantee your body is changing. Your body is changing. You're starting to feel better, starting to have more energy. That is another one that I love to measure, energy levels. A lot of my clients come to me and they're like, oh, my energy's fine. I don't have any problems. And then boom, all of a sudden, it's like, wow, I never realized I could wake up with energy and not be drained all the time. It's like, yeah, because you're fueling your body properly. You're getting good quality sleep. You're moving your body. So that's another great one that I love to measure with my clients. Just another sip of decaf in here. And consistency. At the end of the day, consistency is the best thing to measure. So with my clients, what I have them do is I have a coaching app and I have habits that they track. And so every week when we do our check-in calls, I touch base on those and they can see the green. So if you complete the habit or the action that we're focusing on, there'll be a green check mark. And if you don't, you'll cross it out and it'll be red. So you can really see visually like, hey, this is how consistent you were. This is an area that you've been doing really awesome in. And focusing on that when it's something you've never done before, like comparing you now to where you were before with your habits, it's a great way to celebrate yourself and celebrate the progress you're making. And that, at the end of the day, that's what matters most, consistency. You will reach your goals if you stay consistent 80% of the time. So I really like to focus on that with my clients because it's so important. Because at the end of the day, if the stuff that I'm doing with you, you're not going to stick with it. Once you leave working with me and you quote unquote graduate, you reach your goal, you're not going to be able to maintain those results. And then there's a bunch of other metrics I like to use too. Like I was talking about strength and energy levels. I call them biofeedback. So it's like, how's your digestion? How's your sleep quality? Has that improved? How's your mood? How are your energy levels? How's your recovery? Are you able to work out every 2 days like the plan says, or are you not fueling your body enough? Because then these things, right? And if you're getting more recovery, you're moving in the right direction, right? So all of these things are the goals. You want to improve all these aspects of your life because it'll help you in every other part of your life. So the more energy you have, the better your mood is, the more fun you're going to be around, the more productive you'll be at work, the more you'll be able to do the things you love with the people that you love, the longer you'll be around. So, anywho, hopefully I didn't ramble on too long. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. But the scale, at the end of the day, that number on the scale does not matter. What matters is how you feel physically, how you feel mentally, and how you can show up for yourself and for others, right? So if you're getting fixated on that number on the scale, start to pick 2 to 3 of these metrics I touched on today and start measuring those instead. Because the scale, I'm trying to see, sometimes I talk quicker than I think, and this is something that I'm working on. But I feel like, so most women, some men as well, most women that I work with or I've worked with in the past, or even that I see, we've been sold that there's this number, this pant size, whatever, that matters, but really that doesn't matter. What matters is how you treat others, how you feel in your own body, and being capable of being there for your loved ones, your family and friends. So stop fixating on that damn number and start focusing on what really matters. Because you might reach that number eventually. But if you fixated on it and the scale isn't moving as quickly as you'd like it to, that's oftentimes, and that's normal. You don't want to lose that much weight. Ideally, you want to lose about a pound a week. So it takes time. But anyway, so if you focus on that and that's the only metric you're tracking, you're going to give up because it's not quick, it's slow. But there's so many other things that exercising and proper nutrition and having healthy habits will do for you in your life that you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you only focus on that number instead of focusing on how every other aspect of your life is improving. So hopefully you got something out of this. If you did, feel free to message me on Instagram and tell me the metrics that you're going to use to keep track of instead of just that damn number on the scale. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, there will be a link where you can book a no obligation consultation call with me. We can chat about it if it's the right fit for you. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me on Instagram. I'll have my link in the bio. And I do this because I want to help people. So don't hesitate to reach out. But anyway, I will see you next time. And thank you for listening to the Fit Habit Life podcast. Coach Emma out.